So I'd like to welcome you to Spotlight this week, various things that are happening around the church. Let me tell you about a couple of things. One is next week, we're going to have our church gathering. That's when anyone who feels that Risenbrook is their home from any of their locations, including the online location, if you want to join with us, what we'll do is we'll get out a Zoom link for you, and typically we'd get together in one big room, we'd worship together, but we'll be in a Zoom room together. And the idea is just knowing one another, seeing each other's faces, praying and worshiping together, catching up on things. Particularly, I'd noticed I've been talking with, for instance, with Liz Dipple and with Susan Myatt, and both of them been telling me about the kind of reach that God has given them, the numbers of people who are receiving through their ministries. And it's just, I was so excited. I want to hear from them. I want you to hear from them because it's just brilliant. So we'll hear some really great stuff. We'll also look to the future. We're going to also just talk about the finances of the church, how we were in 2020, how we're going to be going ahead in 2021 and managing finances and that kind of life of the church. We're also going to be announcing the next stage of every year. We reappoint some of our trustees and our elders, and so we'll be talking about that. But essentially, it's family together. I'd love to see you there. I'd love to see your face. I'd love to be able to pray with you, or at least know that you're praying in a group there. I'd love to worship with you. And the other thing I want to talk about is we've got a few extra things that we just want to be throwing out there, little bits of content, some whatever it is, teaching, chatting. So I've started something called What the Preacher Forgot to Say. So 10 or 15 minutes of extra material from a Sunday that didn't make it in, that was on the cutting room floor, or just there was no room for it or whatever. And that's going to come out every week. You could perhaps use that in small groups. But also we're going to have some little chats, some, top tips, comments, various things, and point to some great material that we ourselves have been inspired by that other people are doing. So I'd like to point you to some of those. So have a look on our website, have a look when your emails come through, and check our YouTube channel for some of these little extras, like 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, maybe 10 minutes, or even pointing to some really good stuff that some of our friends in other churches or even other nations are doing.
Well, hi, Dave. Thought we
Hello.
would catch up about Tuesday Central, which is starting next week.
I'm really excited about Tuesday Central because Alpha's starting again, and this is a few courses in now for me of running it. I get really excited about it because it's the core principles of the why of what we believe as Christians, which is brilliant. It sequentially takes you through some of these questions, like, who is Jesus and why did he die, and what's the church all about? What's healing? Does that still happen today? How does God guide us? Each session is a question. And like the mantra of Alpha is got questions. I never really put the two things together until I was putting the sessions together for this time. It's like, of course it is. Every session is a question. I always say, if you know somebody who's kind of even remotely lukewarm to the idea of finding a bit more about the Christian faith, if you have intrigued somebody with your life or decisions that you've made because of your belief system, or conversations that you've had where you felt an openness towards that, then invite that person, come along and bring them with you. That's the best way that somebody sticks with the course, is having somebody encourage them during the week. Say, hey, Alpha Tuesday, you up for it? Let's meet up beforehand online.
I was reminded at our small group on Monday, what would it be like if just everyone invited someone to Alpha? What would our church become? What would that's such a crazy idea, but it's not that hard at the moment, is it? Especially when it's online.
You're absolutely right. Like, now is the time. If you're ever going to say, come along to something, it's never been easier to access. I'm not brilliant with maths, right? So do the sums for me here. But if the membership of our church were to invite 5 people each, knowing that statistically maybe one person from those 5 might show an interest, and then another percentage of those people who showed an interest actually came along to it, right? So figure all that out. But there's a significant number of people that would come to a single course based off of those maths, right? So it's actually a really exciting prospect. And it's always a good opportunity. It's never a bad time to invite somebody on an Alpha course, but at the moment it seems like it's quite an easy in for you as the invitee and for somebody who's the invited, there's not a lot of barriers to entry. And we have a nice friendly team as well. So that goes a long way to making it as comfortable as possible for people to do that.
Also, some other stuff going on. So if maybe you've done Alpha or you've been around the faith for a while, then there are 3 other courses that are starting at Tuesday Central over the next few weeks. 2 of them start this week, and then one of them starts in a couple of weeks' time. That is the prayer course, a similar team to the guys that do Alpha, but it's really good and really has been redone in the last few years. If you saw an old version of it, there's a sort of newer version that's come out in the last couple of years, and it is just ways of thinking about prayer, answering those big questions again, a bit like Alpha. You asking really important questions about what it is, exploring some of the theology, but really the practicality around prayer. And it's led by a guy called Pete Greig, who is like Mr. Prayer. If you know the 24/7 prayer movement or ever seen a book with the title Prayer in it, then he's the man. So yeah, it's really good. Ali Hutton is leading that with a little team. You can sign up for that. That starts in a couple of weeks' time. There's also the Bible course, which is by the team at the Bible Society and is a really interesting look at the big story of the whole Bible. So it's what we would call the biblical meta-narrative. It takes you all the way through the whole story. And we ran that last year before, to absolute rave reviews from lots of people. So we're doing it again. We
actually had to shut down one of our courses because nobody turned up because they were all at the Bible course. And from what I heard, it was definitely worth going to that one. It was an exceptional course and led by exceptional leaders.
Yes, that's John Marshall, Malcolm Egner, proper like minister type people who like
the big
theological training and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a proper one. That's a great course that is already got quite a lot of people on it, I think. So yeah, get booked on there. That will start on Tuesday. And finally, myself and Ruth Stevenson, who you know, we are running something called Parenting for Faith, which is a brand new course to us, brand new course to Rise and Brook, but a team that we are fans of and that we know a little bit over at BRF, who just write great stuff. They write really, really good parenting resources, and it's all about 8 weeks on how to raise, whether it's a tot, a kid, a teen, within a framework of faith. Again, it's a bit like the prayer one in that it's really practical. It's all about how you can get practical, like real ways of like actually talking about faith, actually expressing it, how you build it into your life as a family. So we're really recommending that for any parents of whatever age, and in fact, anyone who's involved in children's lives in any way, whether that's grandparents, whether that's aunts, uncles, whoever, they would say, and they've got examples of whole churches just doing this content, because effectively it's just the basics of discipleship as you would teach to a child. But it's really good. It's really good stuff. It's another video course. All these ones, you watch a video for a bit and you have some discussion. They're all really good. They've all adapted to be online. We're really excited with this Tuesday Central because we've never been able to run this many courses of this sort of caliber before at the same time. The digital world lets us do stuff that we wouldn't have thought we would do before. So yeah, there's loads going on. But you do have to sign up, because how are you going to find yourself in the Zoom room if you haven't signed up? Go to risebrook.org/go and you can see the sign up links for each of these. You can do Alpha, you can do the Bible course, you can do the prayer course, you can do Parenting for Faith.
Just really excited because anything we can do to get momentum in building our knowledge, building our faith, and building excitement for what God might be doing through us as a church community is something well worth investing in. So yeah, do sign up. I know that for me, I'm excited about our course. I know Ruth was looking at the parent stuff material earlier. She kept popping in and saying, hey, there's something else really cool on this course. So they're all going to be winners in their own right. So do sign up and do get involved.
We'll see you online.